Hello, and welcome back to the Norwegian campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Some years have passed, or at least a couple of months. I don't remember off the top of my head when the last episode was. But anyway, we got a peace treaty with France and Britain and Portugal, but we're back at war with Greece, previously known as the Byzantine Empire. And that's thanks to the alliance with the Soviet Union. They kind of dragged us back into this. That alliance is now broken, though, but we're still at war with the Byzantines, or the Greeks, rather. So we gotta just earn some victory points against them and make them surrender. And then we're gonna have a couple of years of peace, I think. And it will be time to design some new ships. I'm going to give you a proper recap of what's happened since last time after this battle. So, we got 4 battlecruisers, 4 DDs. The enemy has a battleship, 8 heavies, 6 lights, and 6 DDs. I think some of these are leftovers from that previous battle we fought with the Byzantines, back when they were the Byzantines. Let's see, join all the battlecruisers together. And the DDs as well. By the way, these are not the old Flamberger class torpedo boats from the earlier years of the campaign. These are, I forget the actual class name, I just renamed them. I got them from France. So, France, once again, stepping in to solve my lack of DDs. Okay, we're turning this way. And down to cruising speed. So I now have a torpedo range of 13.6 kilometers. Already opening fire. Let's select some targets here. Maud. You don't quite have range yet with your 16s to hit the battleship. Let's see. Let's take a look at these cruisers. That's an old one. That's a new one. Or rather new. So we're going to focus those first and foremost with the 14s. And this battleship is do I have one of these? I did get some from the previous war. I did get some ships as war operations from the Byzantines. I did get one that looked a lot like this, but I think it had 17-inch guns. Not 14s. So it might actually be a different class. What kind of torpedo range are we looking at from these enemy DDs? 7.5 kilometers. Let's see, my guns are in range. Let's see. Let's get all of these in position. Rearmost DD. Target that heavy cruiser, actually. That one. Everyone has launched. Good. Alright, back down to cruising speed for the battle cruisers. There we go, we're getting some torpedo hits. And we should get one on this battleship now. There we go. Just one, but it's something. And we're getting more hits on other ships back here. Let's see, Maud. And Svea. So far, so good. There we go. Good hits on the enemy battleship. Very good hits. This battleship will probably not require any further torpedo hits from my DDs. The big guns are taking care of it now. $1.3 billion. Quite expensive. But not the biggest or most expensive battleship I've seen so far in the campaign. Okay, I didn't actually encounter it, but after the peace treaty with the British, I did get the option of asking for one of their latest battleships. It was a super battleship, 100,000 tons. Price tag of more than 3 billion. Armed with 20-inch guns and with decent speed. Now, they didn't actually give it to me, sadly, but from what I could see from the stats when asking for it, it looked pretty good. At least powerful enough to convince me that I do need some modern battleships with big guns. And at some point, yes, one with quad 18s or double 20-inch guns. I've not forgotten. Let's see. Let's pick out the cruisers that looked not too bad. You look not too bad. At least you got decent torpedoes. You are old. Old and tired. You got some old, like armored cruiser type heavy cruisers in service still. Some of their ships are a little bit more modern. But things like this thing here, I think this can be quite safely ignored for a little while. I mean, that's pretty good for if you build this in early 1900s. It's a pretty good cruiser. Not so much in the late 1920s. This one, though, is a pretty good ship. Because it looks like one. I even need the DDs back in this. They haven't rearmed yet. I don't need all my battle cruisers focusing on what looked to be like one of the oldest and least impressive ships in their fleet. Sure, take the light cruisers first, maybe? You can bring these in to hunt down some DDs. I got pretty decent guns. And this should convince the Greeks that further resistance is futile. There we go. Pretty much just executing them at this point. My battle cruisers are completely unharmed. One of my DDs has taken some damage. 3.4 thousand, but that's only 15% damage, so not that bad. I know the enemy launched torpedoes at me. I don't know exactly which ship they were trying to hit, but they did not hit anything. Have to target every gun in my fleet at the same poor old armored cruiser. Excuse me. Secondaries on the DD. And now the main guns too, I guess. If it's the only one left. Yep. That was it. That was it. That was quite the massacre. Yes. That was quite the massacre. So, from France, I got Thailand, I got West Philippines, and what else did I get? Some islands here and there. From Britain, I took most of all they had here through naval invasions. And also from France, I got this one. This one I no, my army invaded it from Portugal. This one I got as war operations from Portugal. They had no navy, so I had to go and just bombard their ports to score enough victory points to earn a victory. From Britain, I asked for Malaya, didn't get it. I did get Singapore, so I've got a decent sized port here now in Asia. That's a very big port too. This is probably the biggest one I have. So I can now station ships in this part of the world. I did also ask for Gibraltar, but they didn't give it to me. So yeah, still no like free access to the Mediterranean. I can go in here though now that it's like peacetime. So I think what I will do is, even though I can't have that many ships stationed here in Varna, I will try to have some ships stationed there. So if I end up in a war with Britain again, I can sail them here, initiate a naval invasion, which can only be done from the Mediterranean side. But the circle will then be big enough that I can reinforce that invasion with ships from the Atlantic side. So that's the plan there. Now let's see what to do now. Yeah, made a copy of the Svea to build another one, the Svea 2, and then a half copy with 16-inch guns, just so I can build some more of them, because that hull is now obsolete. But I've got some new ones. So what else do I have? I get Mark III 18s in 5 months. I get oxygen fuel torpedoes in 27 months. Let's see. Yeah, I've got spare capacity now. So let's resume repairs and refits. That is like 24,000 tons, so we'll not be able to repair the British Agincourt class battlecruiser Lord Warden, which they did give me, but it's broken. Thanks a lot, Britain. Thanks for giving me a broken ship. I'll have to wait with refitting this until I get the Mark III 18s anyway. But it's a pretty big battlecruiser, pretty fast one. My light and heavy cruisers are finished and launched. So let's see. Let's design some ships. So, plan for new battleships. I want my new fast battleships, which is pretty much any modern battleship, to have a speed of 28 knots. Same as my battle cruisers. So they can kind of work together. So what hulls do I have to choose from? I got Modern Battleship 2. I've got Modern Battleship 2, which is another Modern Battleship 2. I've got Modern Battleship 1. And I've got Modern Battleship 1, which is another Modern Battleship 1. Also, I got some modernized dreadnoughts. Modernized dreadnought 2. This is yeah, I remember this from my Chinese campaign. 75 resistance. In vanilla, this hull has a lot more. That's why I built it in the Chinese campaign, because I could make it a lot tougher than any other Chinese hull. But here, I think this one will be the thing to build. 75 is not bad for this one. $80 and $75. Both are pretty good. Both have an optimal speed of 30 knots. So the suggested name is Harald Fear here, or Harald Hårfagre. So I probably have to be that name then, since the original went and sank. I also got some battlecruiser hulls. And modern cruiser hulls. So let's start with the battleship, which will probably be the new flagship. Until I get super battleships. That's a very tiny looking tower on such a big ship. Let's go with that one instead. Even though it's not that much better. It weighs a lot more, but it's not that much better. So range finding and stuff is gonna be heavier. Yeah, we're building a not Bismarck. Can I fit 2 of these on here? Yes, I can. It's not the Bismarck, it just kind of looks like it. Very nice. With the 2 funnels. I like that. Resistance 113. Yeah, this will be 103 now that I changed the fuel. Good range, good speed. There we go. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. What kind of guns do we want? I think I'm saving the 18s for like super battleship times. The 17s look very tiny on this hull. No doubt these guns are gonna grow and become pretty big Once they are Mark 4, maybe. Let's move everything just a tiny bit aft. Now let's see, if I reduce size 75,000. $70,000? So I lost a bit of resistance from that. Oh, come on now. Lost a bit of resistance from that, but I think that just looks a bit more right. And being limited in terms of port sizes, yeah, a slight size reduction might be worth it. I can push it up to, no, let's keep it at 70,000 for now. Need the barbette things. $128 resistance. That's not bad. That's not terrible. Let's see, we're going increased AP. Double cap ballistic. Increased ammo. Let's see where we end up with flash fire channels here once we pick tube powder. 7.7. 5.9. 4. That is safe enough. .4 with TNT 3 instead of TNT 2. Which, well, it's not as safe. But I go from plus 60% shell damage to plus 100% shell damage. And I get some penetration as well. Yeah, let's go with TNT 3. .9. 4.6. Let's go electro hydro. Oh, and we do start out with a bunch of armor on this ship. So, yeah, okay. Alright. So this time it didn't start off with 0 armor. Let's see, let's make them 50 calibers in length. Let's make them 17.5s. Making them, also making the turrets look a little bit bigger, so they don't look so undersized compared to the hull. Alright. 2.5 on the main deck. I think I would like to have 3. I think 3 inches on the third inner belt is good enough. That should keep me safe at, let's see, what's my armor quality set to now? 150. At all but pretty much point blank range. One on the third inner deck. Do I even need that much? No, I don't. I mean, it's gonna struggle going through. It's not gonna go through the main deck at any range. So we're gonna drop down the inner layers a bit. Let's have a decent actual main belt though. Is this safe from HE pens? No, it isn't. So this is like kind of double-edged sword with the extended belts. I know. The also conning tower. I do risk getting full penetration damage from fore and aft belt pens instead of just over pens. But either way, an over pen can cause flooding as well. So it's like, yeah, the damage number will be potentially much higher. But will that really mean anything? Okay, turrets are now armored. 18 though. Is that enough? It kind of isn't. $20. Yeah. I mean, it can get penned, but only at fairly close range. Main belt can be penned also, but that's I'm kind of hoping the inner layers will actually work and keep me safe. Let's see. Let's try and place those a little bit better. There we go. Okay, 7-inch secondary battery. Decent. Pretty decent. Alright, let's go down a little bit on the fore and aft belts so I can find some let's see, 4-inch, they fit there. Do the 5-inch guns fit there? No. So they have to be 4-inch. The ones I place on these upper things here. Give them a little bit of armor. 2.2. Sure. Do I want to make the 7-inch guns longer, though? So they can kind of reach out and touch. Yeah, 13.5 with AP, 12.8 with HE. Kind of liking that. And just to... Ooh. These quad 2-inch guns look kind of sick. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't work. Never mind. But I can place them... there? Is that it? Okay. That's kind of backwards. They fit on the lower turrets, but for some reason not on the upper ones. That is weird. And some doubles here. Yeah, those look pretty cool, the quad 2-inch guns. With the barrels arranged like that. I'm liking it. There we go. Actually, a few tons left over. But that's not really a bad thing, because this will need to have a post-launch refit at some point. Shortly after being launched. Where I will probably have the radar ready for it. And maybe Krupp 4 as well. And perhaps tube powder too, which should be even safer and not have as bad a gun range penalty. At least if the old version of DIP is anything to go by. In vanilla, the gun range penalty gets worse as you get better tube powder, but it does get safer, and at least DIP 1. I think Tube Powder 3 actually had a gun buff of maybe only just 1%, but at least that's better than minus 7%. That's a pretty good thing. So we're gonna save that, and that will be our next battleship. I'm quite liking it. A little bit more German than some of the previous ships, some of which have been quite French. Maybe the next Harald Hårfagre should have been built on that French hull, just to keep in with the tradition. Let's see, what else do we have? There's also this New York type looking modernized dreadnought hull. There is this modernized dreadnought hull, which that looks pretty decent actually. Maybe when time comes to replace the Fryktløs class, this might be the hull to build it on. Okay, that doesn't quite fit. Maybe with a bit extra beam, or just, you know, go with the classic here. Like something like this, and build like a almost Queen Elizabeth type of ship. We could do that. Do we have funnel slots on these? No. Yes. That thing has a funnel slot. Let's just move that way back just for now. Okay, it does fit here. That thing does not have a funnel mount, however. It's not possible to have two funnels here, is it? No, tall funnel 3 is just the biggest one that fits. But I mean, that looks kind of cool though. And you could then go with 15s, or I guess maybe 16s. And do something like that. 42,000 tons. That's a modest size. How fast can you go? You can push this thing up to 25 knots. Yeah. And that means it can, well, it can't keep up with my best battlecruisers or the modern battleships, but it can keep up with the Hale class battlecruisers in the Caribbean. So it can kind of be their flagship. So yeah, that can be the plan with this one. Alright. And Dreadnought 5 I've got already. That's the one that Dannebrook is built on. Let's take a look at the battlecruisers. What do we have here? Modern Battlecruiser 1 is just a bigger version of the initial Battlecruiser 1. And oh yeah, it's this one from the Japanese lineup, where you got just a horrible mishmash of main and secondary towers. And the thing is, if you, unless they changed that, if you go with something like this, which kind of works and looks okay, until you realize that, yeah, no, it's not been changed, not since I played that Japanese campaign. Only the smallest funnel fits, and only on the main tower. So yeah, it's not that cool. 55 resistance, 76 on this one. Alright, this is more like it. We can build something on this. Let's go 32 knots. Let's make a battlecruiser that is, for once, capable of making more than 30 knots. Let's go maybe so, like that. Aft funnel is a little bit lower than the main funnel. Not a big fan of that, but we can pretend we don't notice. And it's just an optical illusion. There we go. Good range too. Even that is still pretty good. We're going 16s on this one though. Triple 16s, I think. Bit of an aft weight offset. Let's pull you further forwards. I wonder. Not really super firing, but almost. It's supposed to be the low profile barbette. I think it's the yeah, I think it's the lowest profile main gun barbette there is. So it doesn't quite work with super firing, but almost. Going at an angle like this, you can get all 9 of those guns pointing over here. Maybe with a bit of elevation too, you can get all of them firing straight ahead. Let's see if we can go with that, or if I have to remove this one and just go with ABX. Like so. Yeah, it did give me some armor to begin with, in this case as well. Oh, yeah. There we go. 2.5 on the third inner belt. 0.5 on the third inner deck. That is decent. Coincidence, RDF. Increased AP. Did I remember to do this on the battleship I just built? Maybe not. No biggie if I didn't, because it's gonna get that post-launch refit anyway. There we go. Yeah, still some displacement left over to spare. 50 caliber gun lengths. Alright. 2-inch main deck. That's a bit risky, but it's not too bad. Hoping that this will actually keep me safe. 14 main belt is the best I can get. 3 on the 4.5 belts. That's not enough to protect me from HE penetrations. 0.5 on the 4.5 decks. And some conning tower armor. Okay. Okay, let's see. Flashfire chance, 0.9. That's not bad. 2.4. That's also pretty decent. Let's go with TNT4 then. Okay, pretty close to the limit here. They're going with a smaller secondary tower. Like that one. Yeah, it looks a little bit better with regards to the funnel as well. Okay. I'm gonna have to reduce some things here, I'm pretty sure, just to make it work. Yeah. Secondary guns. Put a 7 there. And a 7 here. And a 7 here. And there. There we go. A bit overweight. But at least we have a secondary battery now. Let's see, we made them 7.2. And 55 calibers in length on the other on the battleship. So I can do the same one with this one. Yeah, decent arcs of fire. But we're a bit overweight. Let's just not worry about that right now. Yeah, here it works. Do I want to go with doubles instead of triples for this, seeing as I have so many turrets? Maybe. 1.2 billion. We got some nice mounts for these. Bit of an aft weight offset, not too bad. Can live with that. Okay, 1.3 thousand tons. Over displacement. What to do about that? Drop the range? That's still decent. I don't think that's going to give me any troubles with running out of fuel. Slightly reduce that. Make these 1.6s maybe. Had very little effect. I can go down on the 4.5 belts down to 4. Electro steering. That works. That saved quite a bit of weight. I can then go back up to 5. How about the deck? Deck armor didn't weigh much at all, actually. There we go. 0.8. So that leaves very little weight left over for radar and such. But maybe I'll just have some random tech by that time that makes the ship lighter. We'll have to see. There's also the large cruiser hull. Let's see, this is very American looking. Ah, but now that I've unlocked this hull, I should be able to refit this one that I got from France. Because I wasn't allowed to at first, because I didn't have the hull yet. So, here we go. Soleil. Let's make it 32 knots so it can keep pace with the big battle cruiser we just assigned. There's a lot of weirdness going on here with this this boat. Especially with the secondaries. Yeah, let's clear the decks of this hideous nonsense. There we go. Alright. Can I move this further back? Yes, I can. I was afraid maybe I wouldn't be allowed to because it would be too far away from its previous position, but no, that's doable. Get a compact secondary tower. Light modern tower 3. That is the best one. Oop. Let's just add a bigger funnel. Ugly barbette. Let's go to a nicer barbette. Or maybe, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Ooh. I can do fanciness here. Maybe more like so. These are 14.7s. And they're Mark II. Let's see. Mark III. Okay, same turret model. I was a little bit worried that maybe it would just grow too much. Become too big. Okay, let's not do this weird beam and draft nonsense here, France. There we go. No longer so overweight and quite a bit cheaper. There we go. I'd like some 7-inch guns again. Or 7.2, I think. Became my favorite. Like that then. Secondaries. Well, this does not want to play nice with the main tower. There we go. They do not fit here. These are some pretty big turrets you have here, France, as your secondaries. Auxiliary 5. That is better than they need to be. Range is again very good. Heavy shells, no, not doing that. Quad 3, the guns are not that big. 6.4 flash fire shells with standard shells. Alright, 14.7s. We're gonna make them 14.5s. Nicer number. But to compensate, we're gonna make them a little bit longer. We got decent armor here already. Like, more decenter than it needs to be, perhaps, in some places. Turrets I would like to have a little bit more armored, though. 4 is enough on the top. 7.2. And there we go. They were almost 55s already. Alright. 3 on the superstructure should be enough. RDF, yes. That's not bad. We made something that was incredibly ugly to begin with into something that looks pretty nice. And that fits there. It almost looks too tiny. How about 6-inch guns are way too big. 5-inch quadruple. How about some 3-inch quadruples? They don't fit here? These Bofors fit. Okay, that works. That works. That is not bad, I say. Not bad. Can even up the anti-torp just a little bit. Resistance is decent for a fast cruiser. Armor is pretty good. Secondary armament is not bad. Let's make these 40 millimeters. Yeah, my take on what was originally a horribly ugly French large cruiser, now made a little bit nicer. And I think we'll have to do cruisers and DDs next episode. But before we go, here are some of the other captured ships that I've refit. The Samos class, Byzantine or Greek battleship with 17.2-inch guns as main armament. It was not bad to begin with. I think I made it a little bit better. Not super good, but it's like a 21 knot super dreadnought type battleship. It can keep with the dreadnought ships I have. The 21 knot battle line. And let's see, we also have Requin. I was not allowed to move these any of these turrets further back because that would be too far away from the original location. So this was kind of what the turret layout looked like when I got it, and that's how it remains. but I did fiddle around a bit with the secondary layout. It didn't have many options for towers though. That's pretty much it. But yeah, another fast battleship to go in the 28 knot fast battleship line of battle. Not bad, not super good. I think I should have waited with this refit until I got the Mark III 18s. So, remains to be seen how how those turrets will fit. If they're the same size and shape, or if they're like huge. And then there's the British battlecruiser Agincourt, which is yeah, it's pretty fast. Big 18-inch guns. The AI in Dip loves their big guns. No secondaries. It's got torpedoes, but no secondaries. And actually, not bad armor, actually. But this would need... actually, would it need that extensive of a refit? Just swap around which gun is super firing which on the front here, add some secondaries, and change the tower around. And it should be pretty good to go, I think. That secondary tower is perfect with where it's placed and how it's mounted. So, not gonna change that. Definitely gonna change that though. But that is for next time. Goodbye, and take care.